If I had to learn AI from scratch today, I would not take online courses or watch 50 tutorials. It's easy to become overwhelmed with information because deciding which of it applies to you can be difficult. And it also doesn't help that most of what you see online is either too advanced, outdated, or made to sell you something. So today, I am going to be showing you the AI skills that are much more likely to matter long term. I'm going to break this into 4 levels: picking one tool, learning how to talk to it, using it on real tasks, and turning it into a repeatable system. Starting with level 1, picking the tool that fits you and learning the features you will actually use. So many people get caught up with picking the right tool, but for most everyday users, the gap between the major AI tools is smaller than people think. And this is not just my opinion. A 2026 user study found that over 80% of people were already using more than one AI platform, and switching between them was not that difficult. So yes, the tool you pick matters, but it probably matters less than learning how to use one of them well. Because these companies are competing so closely, the best features usually do not stay exclusive forever. When one platform adds something useful, the others usually start moving in the same direction. This is great news for users. It means switching between AI tools is becoming less intimidating because the main interfaces and features are starting to feel more familiar. Some tools are even letting users export data, import memory, or transfer important preferences from one assistant to another. So instead of obsessing over finding the perfect AI tool, I would pick one main assistant and learn it deeply. Then later, once you understand your workflow, you can add other tools when they actually solve a specific problem. Okay, so now that we know not to get too hung up on picking the AI tool, the next step is learning how to actually get comfortable with the one you chose. The first mistake beginners make is treating AI like a search engine. Most people completely skip learning how to prompt. OpenAI's own prompt guidance says, prompts should be clear, specific, and include enough context, and it also recommends refining prompts after reviewing the response. When I'm trying to get a good answer from AI, I try to give it 4 things: the goal, the context, the constraints, and the format. Google's Gemini prompting guide gives similar practical advice. Use natural language, be specific, provide context, iterate, and review the output for clarity, relevance, and accuracy. Following this format can actually help many people that are on limited usage plans. Constantly making your AI tool repeat a response because you didn't give it proper constraints or context can burn through usage. Another thing I had to learn is that the first answer is usually not the final answer. The first answer is the starting point. OpenAI specifically describes prompt engineering as iterative. Start with a prompt, review the response, then refine it by adding context, simplifying, or adjusting wording. Say I got a response I didn't like. I could respond with something like, "This sounds too polished and generic. Keep the same idea, but make it sound more like a real person talking to a beginner who feels overwhelmed. Start with the problem first. Remove the buzzwords, and give me 3 shorter versions." Not only does this help make your current response better, but if you have memory or personalization turned on, some tools can use those preferences to make future responses feel more aligned with how you like to work. The last thing I would do before moving on is to get comfortable with your AI tool's personalization settings, because the default version of an AI assistant is built for everyone, but you want it to understand how you work. For example, in ChatGPT, you can go into the personalization settings and adjust things like your custom instructions, memory, and response style. And Gemini and Claude have similar personalization features too, where you can give the AI instructions, preferences, or project-specific context. For Gemini, this usually means adjusting personalization features like past chat context, connected Google apps, and instructions for how you want Gemini to respond. For Claude, this usually means using profile instructions for general preferences, project instructions for specific workflows, and styles or skills to control the tone and format. Before you change these settings, the AI has to guess what kind of response you want based only on your prompt and the current conversation. But once you set your preferences, it has more context from the start and can give you a response that is much closer to the way you actually want to work. Now that you have picked a tool and customized it around what you need, level 3 is where you actually start using AI for real tasks. And the first thing I would build is a prompt library. To start, open a Google Doc and list out your 3 main uses for AI. For example, email replies, studying, and investing. Now draft 3 reusable prompts for each of the main categories you picked. Make sure to include the goal, the context, the constraints, and the format. Then leave room for your changes when you use it for real responses. That way, when you actually need help, you are not starting from zero every time. You already have a strong starting point, and all you have to do is adjust the details for the situation you are in and let AI handle the first draft. So here's what this would look like in a real situation. Let's say your boss emails you and asks why a project is behind schedule and when they can expect an update. This is one of those situations where you probably know what happened, but you do not want the response to sound defensive or careless. So a bad prompt would be something like, write an email to my boss saying the project is delayed. The problem with this prompt is that it gives the AI almost no context. It does not know why the project is delayed, what tone you want, how serious the situation is, or what outcome you want from the email. So instead of starting from zero, this is where the prompt library comes in. In my prompt library, I might already have a reusable prompt for professional email replies that looks like this. Help me write a professional email reply. The goal is to respond clearly while keeping the tone respectful and natural. Here's the situation. Insert situation. Here is what I need to communicate. Insert main points. Keep it under insert length words and give me insert number versions with slightly different tones. Now instead of writing a brand new prompt, I can just adjust this template to fit the exact situation. I'll fill in the real reason for the delay, the tone I want, the deadline I want to promise, and the format I want back. So instead of just saying the project is delayed, I can tell the AI that I'm waiting on feedback from 2 team members, I want the email to sound calm and accountable, and I want to offer a partial update today with a final version by Friday. The prompt library gives the AI a structure, and then you just fill in the real details. And this is why building a prompt library is so useful. You are saving the structure of tasks you already repeat, so when something real comes up, you can move faster and get a better first draft. Once you have a prompt library, the final step is putting those prompts somewhere your AI can actually use them. Level 4, AI workspace. This is where project features and connected apps become useful. Because a Google Doc is a good starting point, but eventually you do not want your best prompts and files scattered everywhere. Instead of opening a brand new chat every time, you can create a workspace around one specific goal. So if I'm using AI for work, I could have one project for email templates, reports, meeting notes, and recurring tasks. ChatGPT and Claude both have features called projects, which are built for keeping related chats, files, and instructions together. Gemini has gems, which are custom AI assistants you can build around repeatable tasks, and it links with Google apps like Gmail, Docs, and Drive. But the goal is similar across all of them. You are trying to give the AI more context before you ask for help. So under an email templates project, I could add my prompt library, add instructions for how I want professional emails to sound, and keep related examples in one place. Then instead of pasting the same template every time, I can give the AI the situation and ask it to pick the best template, adjust it to the context, and give me a better first draft. And once you start organizing your prompts, files, and instructions like this, AI stops being a random chatbot. It starts becoming a workspace. But the next step is even more important, turning that workspace into a repeatable system. First, tell AI the situation, then ask it to choose the best email template from your prompt library, then ask it to draft 2 versions, then ask it to make the better version shorter, clearer, and less defensive. And before sending it, you still review it yourself. The goal is to make the first draft easier, and as your workspace collects the right rules, examples, and context, each draft becomes easier to improve. And this does not only apply to emails. Almost any repeated task can be improved this way, and once you build the system, it can save you hours every day. Once your AI workspace has the right files and context, you can start using it to catch problems you might have missed through our final step, cross-referencing. For example, imagine I have one folder or project with my meeting notes and another document with the report I'm preparing. In the meeting notes, the team agreed that the first draft would be ready by Wednesday, but in the report, I accidentally wrote that the first draft would be ready by Monday. That is the kind of small conflict that is easy to miss when everything is spread across different notes, documents, and chats. But if those files are connected, uploaded, or organized in the same AI workspace, I can ask, compare my meeting notes and my current report draft. Look specifically for conflicting dates, deadlines, responsibilities, or promises. If you find anything that does not match, show me the conflict and suggest what I should double check. Now, AI is not just writing for me. It is helping me review my own work. And that is a big difference, because the more files, notes, and instructions you organize around a specific goal, the less you have to rely on memory alone. Claude Cowork actually has one of the more impressive cross-referencing abilities, so if that's important to you, I would suggest testing their tools out. So if I had to learn AI from scratch today, this is the order I would follow. Level 1. I would pick one main AI tool and stop obsessing over which one is perfect. Level 2. I would learn how to actually talk to it by giving it better goals, context, constraints, and formats. Level 3. I would start using it on real tasks by building a prompt library around things I already do. And level 4. I would turn that prompt library into a workspace and eventually a repeatable system, because the real advantage of AI is not just getting one impressive answer answer. It is learning how to use it consistently, organize your work around it, and build systems that make the things you already do easier. And whether people like it or not, AI is not going away. These tools are going to keep getting better. They're going to keep showing up in more jobs, more schools, more businesses, and more creative work. So the goal is not to panic or chase every new tool. The goal is to stay in the loop, learn the basics, build real workflows, and keep improving as the tools improve. So if you want to keep learning how to actually use AI in a practical way, subscribe, because I'm going to keep breaking down the tools, updates, and systems that are actually worth paying attention to.